Hello everyone, welcome to this unplanned and unscripted video. This is something I put together at the last possible minute. In fact, I was actually inspired to make this video because I hit two milestones at the beginning of this week and just like 4 hours ago. And I decided this is a topic worth digressing over with all of you. It might be of value to some of you, it might not be, but either way, I decided, this is something I gotta talk about. So as of this week, I have officially hit 10 months of unemployment, and I lost my job in October, so July, so that's around 10 months. And as of 3 hours ago, I finally sent out my 1000th application. Well, 3.5 hours ago, I sent out my 1000th job application. And I kind of want to discuss some learnings and reflections about what I have learned from the last 10 months of job hunting. But before I get into that, I want to share some numbers and give you an idea of where I'm coming from. So October is when I lost my job, and I've been applying ever since. I have had, from 1,000 applications, I've had about 150 interviews. And from those 150 interviews, I've made it to about the second to last stage in about 50-ish of them, and gotten to the final stage in about 12 or 13 of them. And so far I haven't been hired, otherwise I would not be making this video. But and if you're wondering why I haven't been hired, the reasons why I've been rejected, from what I can gather, from what I could, extrapolate, from what I could extract from recruiters and the hiring managers, I've been rejected because I was underqualified for a position in a few of them. I lost out to candidates that had 3 or 5 more months of experience. 5 months is the highest, someone quoted me. And I've also been rejected because I was overqualified for positions, which never made any sense to me because I thought I met the job requirements perfectly. I've also lost out to positions where at the last possible minute they've found an internal candidate. Happened 3 times. I have the emails as receipts. And I have also lost out to positions where the funding for the department was pulled during the interview phase. This happened during the peak layoff season, which you'll remember happened a few months ago. I was interviewing for some really big, solid companies. I was lucky enough to get interviews, but then I was informed that the funding has been pulled and there's a hiring freeze, so no more hiring. But, they'll keep my resume on file and call me, which never happens. So those are some of the reasons why I've lost my position, lost out to, well, some of the reasons why I haven't been hired so far. And I'm sure there are interviews that I must have botched completely. But before I jump into the learnings and reflections, I just want to make it clear that I've had my resume professionally done 3 times now. The third time was, creme de la creme of resumes. It was done amazingly well. I've had my cover letter done. I've had my LinkedIn profile done. It's one of the reasons why I ended up getting so many more interviews. I've been coached on how to give the perfect answers for interviews, but obviously the decision is not in my hand. It's in the hands of the hiring managers, and the perfect candidate isn't the perfect candidate on paper. The perfect candidate is the perfect candidate in the mind of the hiring manager. So whatever their criteria and reason is, the one that they don't really publicize, and it's difficult to extract that because they keep it sort of as a secret. But anyways, so what are my learnings and reflections after being unemployed for 10 months and having sent out 1,000 applications? And I'm trying to keep this short because I don't want to bore you with a sob story, because this isn't a sob story. This is actual learning. And what I've learned so far in the last 10 months is one cannot rely on jobs anymore, right? There is absolutely no guarantee that I will have a job tomorrow. I mean, I could get hired today, and 4 months from now, because there's now a recession looming over our heads, the company decides, hey, we need to cut expenses, get rid of those positions, shut that department down, we can scale back, that's fine, we'll revisit it in a year or so. That's fine, right? That's their decision. So it could happen at any moment. But this begs the question. I've been unemployed for 10 months now, and for the last 10 months, I have spent about 20K on rent alone, just on rent, about 22-ish K on rent. And add another $1,000 a month as living expenses. So that's about 30-ish K total that I've spent just in 10 months to keep myself afloat. Now, I'm a little fortunate because a couple of years ago, I made some decisions to have some investments and, save some money on the side, a little extra money. Never thought I'd need it this bad, but that's what it came down to. At the same time, when I was, when I lost my job, a few months later down the line, these layoffs started to happen and a lot more people started to lose their jobs. And I had some friends and acquaintances that were in the upper 150, 200K plus range. And many of them have gone completely broke because they didn't have those levels of savings, or they recently purchased a house or they recently purchased a car, and you have to make those payments, right? Otherwise they start seizing your assets. And I've had people I know personally know that have had their assets seized because they could not make payments. I've had people that have been warned that if they don't make their mortgage payments, then foreclosure or whatever it is. And these are talented people, way more experienced than me. Many of them are 5 plus 10 plus years older than me, so they're way ahead in their careers, and they're struggling to find jobs, right? And if that's the case, how can one rely on jobs to sustain themselves? I'll give you this one example. I should have mentioned this in the beginning. A recruiter reached out to me. This was many months ago, and they said that there's a position that is perfect for me. It paid really well. And they said the interviews will be a formality, but the condition for employment was that I cease work on my YouTube, I cease work on my newsletter. I have a newsletter that I publish on LinkedIn, and I stopped working on dygres, which obviously didn't sit well with me. And I asked them a simple question. I was like, well, what happens, let's say 6 months from now, the company decides that this position is no longer needed, or like they have to cut expenses and I'm laid off and now I have nothing to fall back on. The response was, that's not our concern, which never made any sense to me, because it seems like this market has come to the point where employers can absolutely dictate what you can and cannot do outside of work. And I think that's absolutely horrible. And I made a whole video on like why you need a second source of income. You're welcome to watch it or not. Honestly, it's entirely up to you, but it's adding more and more validity and weight to the fact that relying on a job is the dumbest thing one can do in the era we live in. The point that I'm trying to make for everybody here is that we're no longer in an employee's market. This is an employer's market. They can basically create any criteria to hire people. You could be the best candidate on paper. It absolutely means nothing, because the hiring managers and the recruiters decide what is the best candidate. And on top of that, we're the times that we're living in, layoffs have become extremely common. I mean, I like to say that layoffs are as common as the sun rising now. And companies can dictate basically and tell you like what you can and cannot do outside of work, regardless of the consequences, like absolutely regardless of the consequences. So the message that I'm trying to send out is, if you haven't already, please look into a second source of income. Like, sow the seeds now. It takes time. I'm not like one of those YouTubers or influencers that go like, well, 6 months ago I lost my job and now I make $1 million a month. It's not that easy. It happens maybe to one person out of 100,000, right? And that too happens under shady circumstances. I mean, just look at YouTube right now, how many exposés are happening, right? Exposing this YouTuber, exposing that YouTuber. Don't buy into those lies. Build something of value. Build something that gives value to other people. That's one of my goals with Digress, is to give something that create something that gives value, and it's taking time. So and money was never the goal with any of this, like genuinely. It's just what I wanted to put out there, and I hope that everyone out there is doing well. I hope your jobs are secure. But if you're not, but if you're struggling right now, please feel free to message me. I'm always happy to talk to anyone. But remember, keep your chin up and do the best you can. Hopefully things will turn around for you. There's this saying that goes like, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and hopefully you're at the end of the tunnel or pretty close to the end of the tunnel and you can start seeing the light. I don't want to give you false hope, but I really hope that is the case. And if it's not, chin up. You'll make it through, right? You'll struggle, you'll make it through, and hopefully you'll come out stronger. In the meantime, I appreciate any follows or subscribes to my YouTube channel. We are welcome to check out Digress, but I promise you there's nothing there. It's just, a text-based social media right now. You can't even share pictures. But work on it is ongoing. I haven't abandoned it. I haven't stopped working on it. And my intentions are to see it all the way through. I am looking for funding at the moment, getting a pitch deck ready. At some point, I'll start speaking to venture capitalists, VCs. But if you're a VC watching this, I have an email in the description, so please feel free to email me. But anyways, I think that's enough of a digression. Take care. Thank you so much for watching, and please drop a like, subscribe, follow, maybe call YouTube and let them know about me. Tell your friends, family, mom, dad, uncles, cats, dogs, who I am, and hopefully we'll get there somewhere. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye bye.